To protect its civilian population centers from incoming aerial threats, Israel relies heavily on advanced kinetic interceptor systems like the Iron Dome. But looking at this chart reveals the severe economic disparity built into this defense model. A single Tamir interceptor missile costs up to $100,000 to fire. Meanwhile, the incoming threat it is designed to destroy often costs a mere fraction of that. Most of these threats consist of unguided mortars and mass-produced delta-wing drones built from cheap, commercially available components. When a defender spends $100,000 to destroy a $500 piece of hardware, the math eventually fails. Against high-volume attacks over long periods, traditional kinetic missile defense is financially unsustainable. Military strategists refer to this tactic as asymmetric attrition. An adversary intentionally uses high-volume, low-cost barrages to financially exhaust a technologically superior defender. Beyond the financial drain, kinetic systems harbor a secondary, physical vulnerability. Even with a blank checkbook, launcher batteries can only hold a finite number of missiles. During a sustained swarm attack, a defense shield eventually runs out of physical ammunition. Surviving this kind of warfare requires an entirely different mechanism. A defense system needs an infinitely deep magazine and a cost per shot of practically zero. To solve the ammunition problem, militaries have spent decades trying to weaponize light. The pursuit of directed energy weapons stretches back through a long history of Cold War-era initiatives. Initial testing for these early chemical lasers occurred on a massive scale at specialized military ranges, like White Sands. Systems like Miracle and Thel relied on chemical reactions to generate power. They required sprawling infrastructure and highly toxic, volatile fuels. These logistical hurdles often resulted in explosive failures and massive operational delays. Engineers attempted to bypass ground-based limitations by mounting chemical systems onto modified Boeing 747s, but the same issues grounded the project: extreme weight, massive toxic fuel requirements, and prohibitive operating costs. Chemical lasers proved that a beam of light could physically shoot down a missile, but dragging giant vats of hazardous chemicals into an active combat zone made them completely impractical. In the 2010s, defense contractors Rafael and Elbit Systems abandoned the chemical approach. They pivoted entirely to electric-powered fiber lasers, trading toxic fuels for a safe, scalable supply of electrical power. To achieve the necessary stopping power, they utilized a method called coherent beam combining. By precisely synchronizing the output of multiple smaller fiber laser modules, they fused them into a single, highly intense 100 kilowatt beam. Thermal distortions and dust cause laser bloom, scattering the light. To solve this, Iron Beam uses a 450 millimeter lens and a deformable mirror, changing shape thousands of times per second. This pre-distorts the light, snapping it back into a focused beam. Once that beam reaches the target, it has to maintain a coin-sized focal spot for a dwell time of roughly 4 to 8 seconds to deposit enough thermal energy. This concentrated, sustained heat superheats the target's outer casing. It burns through the metal until it triggers a catastrophic structural failure or forces the warhead to detonate midair. Mastering adaptive optics removed the atmospheric barrier. It took an electrically powered interceptor out of the laboratory and proved it could actually work in turbulent skies. The operational economics of the newly deployed Iron Beam completely invert the cost of defense. A single interception by the laser consumes only about $3.50 in electrical generation. The Iron Beam serves as the innermost layer of a fully integrated, multi-tiered defense shield, sharing the exact same radar detection network as the Iron Dome. When a radar detects an incoming threat, an algorithm decides how to respond. If the target is distant or obscured by heavy cloud cover, the system fires a $50,000 kinetic missile. If the target is close and the sky is clear, it routes the target to the $3 laser. This hybrid integration neutralizes the strategy of economic exhaustion. It preserves expensive interceptor stockpiles for complex, high-value threats, while incinerating cheap drone swarms for pennies. The technology is already being scaled for other domains. The newly developed Light Beam is a 10-kilowatt mobile unit designed specifically to provide moving ground forces with active drone defense. At sea, engineers have engineered the naval Iron Beam variant. Without terrain or urban structures blocking the line of sight, the laser protects maritime assets from sea-skimming anti-ship missiles and oceanic drone swarms. Development is also underway on an airborne variant. By flying high above the cloud cover, this system aims to destroy heavy ballistic missiles during their boost phase, when they are slowest and most vulnerable. The rapid deployment of these systems is driven by substantial geopolitical and financial support, including multi-billion-dollar joint defense investments between the United States and Israel. By demonstrating that $1 million rocket barrage can be neutralized for the price of a few kilowatts of electricity, the Iron Beam has finally made the defense cheaper than the offense.